In this video, I want to talk to you about diplomatic immunity. I've had it for 13 years and I've lived in 8 different countries. So I'm going to tell you the truth about it from the beginning to the end. I'm going to talk to you about the rules, the laws, the benefit. Is it true you can kill someone, get away with it? What is diplomatic immunity? What is immunity during the exercising of your function? How do you travel with a diplomatic immunity? How do you get one? Can you buy one? What about the spouse? What about your kids? I'm going to talk to you about everything. What it is, the absolute truth. If you wanted to learn about it, if you've watched Lethal Weapon when you were younger and you were wondering, well, here it is, okay? I'm going to talk to you about all that stuff. First of all, a diplomatic immunity, if you want me to, let's say, put it in a few words, it's a kill switch, okay? It's as simple as that. It's like a magic wand. Boom. Okay? It's as simple as that. Let me explain. 2 years ago, I'm in New York, 3rd Avenue and 88th Street. I'm waiting for a friend of mine who's coming, and he's basically just running in front, he's a black guy from Gabon. He's a diplomat in New York, working for the consulate, and he's running. For whatever reason, 2 cops decide to take offense or take whatever, interest in him, okay? They stop him, they start questioning him. I see him from afar, so I work toward him. By the time I arrive there, the police are becoming quite animated, okay? And now they're asking him to turn around and they want to push him against the wall and they want to search him. While they're about to do that, he said the magic word, "I'm a diplomat." And that went from him being, look, homie, do what I tell you, don't resist or you'll be in trouble, to, "I'm so sorry, sir, please, we have no way to know, sir, can we see your white and blue diplomatic ID," which is the standard given in the United States. He took it from his wallet, he gave it to them, and after that it was, we're so sorry, and they just step in their cruiser and peeled off, okay? This is basically the idea of a diplomatic immunity, and I don't care who you are, what age, what country you're from and which country you're in. It's 99% like this. I've rarely seen any time where that was not the case. So this is a mental kill switch, okay? You get to the airport, they're about to search your luggage. You go, "Hey, sorry, but I'm a diplomat. Here's my visa or your ID or whatever you have that identify you as a diplomat, your UNLP, whatever." Automatically, that's it, done, okay? So this is an ingrained training in the cops, in people, that you understand that you cannot do anything against those people. So one way or the other, you don't have a choice. So the people are trained to, when you see a diplomat, first of all, you cannot arrest them. If you want to, the law is clear, you have to go to the head of mission, ask the head of mission, and then after that, it could go down. So, what are the advantages of this? So let's say for cars, okay, I'm importing a car. You can import pretty much every car, anywhere, any countries, that's not a problem, tax exempt. So when I move around with my car, I basically just get to a new country and the car or the container will be under diplomatic immunity, so it cannot be searched. Yes, they'll gamma ray the container, but they cannot go and search and open boxes. Same concept. If they were to want to do that, they would have to basically ask the head of mission to be able to open the container and go search, and they would have to have very, very good reason to do it. So far, it just doesn't happen. The thing is, you can also import cars that normally you're not supposed or allowed to, okay? So let's say right-hand steering wheel or left-hand steering wheel in a country where people drive on the other side of the road, or the car is too old, it's a diesel engine and they don't allow diesel engine in the country. You can import, or not that they don't allow diesel engine, but they don't allow import of diesel engine cars. It's the case in Lebanon, for example, because there's already too much diesel in the pollution. You would be able to do it as a diplomat in most cases, okay? So the advantage is you won't lose your car. You will be able to transport and move with it. But you would have to sign a paper that says you're going to leave with your car. If it's that kind of car, that's fine. And you don't pay taxes on it. It prevents you from selling it as well in most cases, because since you did pay taxes bringing it in, you're not allowed to sell it in most cases, depending on the country, or you can do it for, let's say, 2 years. After that, you can sell it. Let's talk about cars. Importing, buying, driving a car as a diplomat. All right, I'm going to use my car as an example. I have a BMW X3 M40i. It's a very sporty car. It's worth about $100,000. Okay, if I buy it at BMW with a diplomatic program, first of all, I'm going to have 25% off, plus no taxes on import. So the car cost me $62,000 instead of $100,000. If I take the car and I basically ship it to a country, let's say the Caribbean, where they charge 100% tax on luxury import, I'm not paying taxes at all. So I can ship the car literally anywhere around the world without paying any taxes, which is great. Also, there's exception. For example, I was in Jamaica, okay, normally you're supposed to have your steering wheel on the right of the car, but you can import as a diplomat a left-hand drive steering wheel, not an issue. So this is the type of things you can do. If your car cannot be imported, for example, because it's more than 5 years old, that's fine. That rule can be overruled as a diplomat, because you guarantee that you're going to take the car out when you leave. That's fine. You can import in most countries a car every 2 years without paying taxes. So imagine that, okay? I buy the car, which worth $100,000. I pay $60,000. In 2 years, I can resell that car for maybe $60,000, even more. Okay, so this is amazing, because I take all the depreciation on the car and I can still sell it for the same price and go and buy another one. So essentially, the car costs me nothing. This is amazing. The license plate, you would have a special license plate, okay? It doesn't matter if it's yellow, blue, whatever, white with special lettering, but you'd have a special license plate in every country, that's for sure. The exception, well, it's not really an exception, okay? When we're going to talk about the different levels of diplomatic immunity, like in New York, for example, since they have a lot of diplomat, then you'd have to have a very high-ranking diplomat in order to be able to get the diplomatic plate. In other countries, you get it at a lower level, but you'd still have a different plate. What happens when you get arrested? Well, generally you don't, okay? Very often I've been driving on highway and the police get behind me and somehow they almost flash me, and you see that they don't, they reconsider and they slow down, or they stop you and then they say, well, you were driving quite fast, could you please drive slower? And that's it, but you never get any ticket. In 13 years, I have not gotten one ticket. Now, even if I drive correctly, okay, honestly, it doesn't matter. In 13 years in Canada, for sure, I would have gotten a bunch of tickets, but somehow I have gotten none in the last 13 years, which is, in my opinion, 90%, 95% due not to my driving, but to the fact that I have a diplomatic plate. The other thing too is when you come into a country, if it takes you 6 months to get the plate, in some countries, developing nation like Philippines, for example, took us that long, you can put like a printed plate saying diplomatic for registration or didn't get my plate yet. When you get arrested by the cops, you just give your ID and they let you go, no issue. Another fact as well on this is that in a lot of countries, I drove around, let's say, with a friend's car, a local, and then we get stopped, like in the Philippines, and then the police start questioning, and here's 500 pesos, like $10, go away. With a diplomatic plate, they would never arrest you, okay? So, and this is one of the reason, the advantages of the diplomatic immunity. In Canada, even as an immigrant or an expat, you're not gonna have any issues. The laws are very, level for everybody. But as a diplomat, when you're a foreigner, I'm not gonna say when you're white, okay? But when you're clearly a foreigner, yes, you're gonna have more problems, okay, abroad. That's for sure. Having your diplomatic immunity, your ID, your license plate, it helps a lot, okay? You skip all the issues with the corruption. So that's basically the idea of driving a car as a diplomat or buying one, importing one. Now, if we're talking about traveling, when you getting into a country, you would get generally you're going to go to the embassy of the country. You're going to go become a diplomat and you're going to get your visa, or you're going to get an ID. The minute you get to the airport, they're not going to search you. Okay, with a G4 diplomatic visa or G3 diplomatic visa in the United States, when you cross the border, I mean, most people they would, and I know me before becoming a diplomat in the U.S., for example, the time you were there. I mean, you get to the airport, where are you going, where you're from, how long you're going to stay, what are you going to do in the United States? You bring anything with you, any alcohol or something? When you're a diplomat, they don't ask you any of those questions. That's it. Okay, it's like welcome to the United States and stamp and go. You also have special lane that skip all the basically having to wait in line. So this is easy. What else? So if we're talking about the different level of diplomatic immunity, that goes with the country agreement. So either the UN or let's say Canada, US, whatever, would have discussion with the country and say, okay, what are you going to give our diplomat as far as benefit? Now, we're not talking about the immunity from prosecution. This for sure you'll get. This is part of the core of the Geneva Convention, Article 7, toward diplomatic immunity. I'm talking about in some countries, like you can resell your car every 3 years, for example. Other countries you can't. Other countries you would have, like the UN, let's say in the UN there are 10 different levels, okay? Well, unless you're level 7, 8, 9, you won't be able to get those benefits. So let's say a P4 staff, for example, in Canada, the UN P4 level, will get full diplomatic immunity with full tax exemption and everything. In the United States, you have to be Secretary General. You have to be very high up because there's already a lot of diplomats in the US, so they don't allow it for lower staff. Otherwise, you'd have thousands of license plates with diplomatic plate downtown. To that effect, yes, it's driving, and I should have mentioned that. Basically, you have all over cities, you're going to have a lot of places where diplomatic parking spots are available. You go to the airport, you generally, almost every single airport, you never pay for parking as diplomat because the airport is almost considered like a tax, so you don't pay that. Most places will have a parking for diplomats. You just show up with your ID, show your ID, you say, I'm going to leave my car here for 2 weeks, and that's it. You leave your car there and no money at all exchange, and you don't have to pay anything. That's the advantage there. The other thing that also is important to mention is, again, the country agreement. And this is where people buying diplomatic immunity are having some issues, okay? You can buy, I see that online a lot, like $50,000, $30,000, you can buy an immunity, which basically gives you the right to live in a country automatically. You're immune from jurisdiction. You're going to have, again, your imports of car and stuff. But very soon, the problem with that is the country agreement will end up failing. So Tuvalu used to have, so the .tv online, the country Tuvalu, they basically used to have a program that they were selling diplomatic immunity. But very soon, England and other countries started realizing that they were doing that. So the people that were coming in their countries as diplomat from Tuvalu were basically not at all working for the government. And they started creating issues, and eventually they canceled that. So everybody that had the diplomatic immunity or that bought it, they lost it. Or they're going to give very little benefit because they want actually true diplomats, not people that buy it. So buying a diplomatic immunity may work, but like I said, for a very short period of time. And you have to check in which country you can actually exercise your immunity. Now, how do you become a diplomat or get a diplomatic immunity? Well, first of all, United Nations employees, not necessarily NGOs. The UN, yes, core UN, high level, like so P3, P4, P5, director level, FSG, Secretary General, yes, they will have diplomatic immunity. Their spouse will have it as well, their kids as well. So second part, maybe marrying someone who works for the UN will give you diplomatic immunity. You will have it of course, only in the country where the person is posted, okay? Your UN laissez-passer, the UNLP, yes, the blue passport, yes, you'll have the ability to use it in other countries when the staff travels. But the place that you have your diplomatic immunity is the country where you are actually working, not everywhere. Now, can you commit a murder or a small crime as a diplomat and get away with it? Okay, let's remove the small crime. The small crime, like I explained to you, I talked to you about the kill switch when we started this thing. Honestly, I don't think you can, okay? Like 90% of the time, any petty crime committed by diplomats, speeding or whatever, jaywalking or doing something different, okay, something that would be considered illegal in the country, you're not going to be bothered, okay? You're going to take your diplomatic immunity out. You're going to show your card, your visa, whatever you have that identify you as a diplomat, and you get away with it. No issue. The police won't even bother. It's too much trouble. Ticket, same thing, right? You drive from Zurich to Geneva. You get flash 4 or 5 times with tickets. You get your tickets in the mail a month later. You go to the, whatever, the driver... let's say the Comté Genevois, the registration, whatever. You're going to get there and you're going to say, I got 5 tickets. They're going to go like cancel, 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 cancel. That's it, okay? Diplomat. They cannot pursue you anyway. You have a legitimation card in the country and you're done. If you commit a murder, okay. If you're Chinese, for example, and you commit your murder in Jamaica, okay, so you're a Chinese diplomat with full diplomatic immunity and you commit a murder in Jamaica. The government of China right now has paid highways in Jamaica. They've paid for government buildings. They're paying for a lot of stuff. Big chance they're going to tell the Jamaican government, look, you let this go. We're going to take our guy back home. We'll punish him ourselves or not or whatever. But we're not going to cancel his diplomatic immunity. If you're not happy, we're just going to stop investing in your country. That's it. They won't do anything, or they will not even mention it because they don't want to piss off the Chinese and lose investment. They'll just shut up. If it's the other way around, a Jamaican committing a murder in China where China has, receives nothing from the Jamaican, don't care, they're actually just contributing to Jamaica and not receiving from Jamaica, they might say, okay, look, you want us to continue building highways and investing in your country and giving you money? Cancel this guy's diplomatic immunity so we can prosecute him for murder, or we're done. We're breaking relationship with you. We're canceling our embassy, and you guys, whatever, can, pile stone together by yourself to build your buildings because I'm not going to do it for you anymore. Okay? Psst. Maybe that sounds a bit bad, but anyway, you get the idea, okay? So, yes, this way it's possible. There's another thing too. A lot of countries don't want to pay for 20, 30 years of imprisonment for someone that commit a crime in their country and then the person get expatriated. They'll just let the person go because what's the point of putting this person in jail? If the guy is getting evicted from the country, is no longer a threat to the country, he cannot commit a crime in the country anymore, he doesn't live there anymore, so it's best to just ship him out and that's it. So in a lot of cases, this is how diplomat could get away with murder, and it does happen, okay? Or drunk driving or something like that, like it happened in Canada with a Russian who killed a woman in Canada. They just took him out of the country. They flew him out. That's it. And Canada would have had to ask him to come back and prosecute, and then they just let it go. So these are the type of thing that could happen. So the thing is, every single countries, okay, will have different type of relationship. So the diplomatic immunity is universal. This is the Geneva Convention, Article 7. That's fine. But we're talking about tax benefit, who gets it, what level gets it, how much you get, and something like that. Or, you have to be posted in the country for more than a year to get your tax-free status or something. That can change from one country to the next. And this is where, like I've mentioned, if you're a small little tiny island, maybe you cannot, negotiate these things very well with bigger nations, and your diplomat may not have all the benefits. But other than that, generally, that's how it is to be a diplomat. And yeah, okay, let's just talk about a feeling. it is a kind of relaxing thing, okay? I would not necessarily want to live in the United States if I didn't have my diplomatic immunity. Why? Because you can be arrested for all kinds of things. And then you get put to jail, and then you have to pay tens of thousands of dollars in lawyers. In the US, they put people in jail like crazy, right? They have like 4% of the world population and 25% of the people in prison. Other countries, like, you know, if I didn't have a diplomatic immunity, I wouldn't live there because I would be fearful, right? You would get tickets all the time. You could get your car seized for all kinds of reasons. And these are all examples that happen to friends of mine that are local or that are expat, which are there without being protected by the diplomatic immunity status. So this is why a diplomatic immunity is so important, because it allows the person to relax. It allows the person to be in the country without fearing for any issues. And I gave the US as an example, but like I said, it could be Jamaica, it could be Lebanon, it could be anywhere else, okay? It's kind of like, it protects you, okay? There are 2 Canadians in prison in China for espionage right now because of a political thing. If they were a diplomat, that would never happen. So this is where having a diplomatic immunity is really something that helps. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and give me the thumbs up. I'm going to make a video like this almost every single day, teaching people how to move around the world, travel, how to prosper anywhere. If you have any experiences, if you travel anywhere, please tell me where you travel. Put it in the comment below. If you have any questions, I do answer my comments. And also, if the question is broad enough and I think enough people need to hear the answer, I'm going to definitely make a video about it. Also, if you want to learn how to make money, how to prosper, I retired at 33 years old, multimillionaire. How I did that internationally, online and offline. And I have a sister channel that's teaching exactly how to do that. So if you want to travel and make money anywhere, this is the channel for you.